Oprah Winfrey, one of the most famous talk show hosts of our time, founding major companies such as Harper Productions and Oprah magazines, earning her a net worth of $2.5 billion as of this year. Would you have guessed she wanted to be an actress before all of that? Jeff Bezos, executive chairman of Amazon, dreamed of becoming an archaeologist, then an astronaut, then a physicist, and then soon after a computer programmer. Figures. Mr. Amazon had always wanted it all. Will Ferrell wanted to be a sports broadcaster. George Clooney wanted to be a baseball player, and even Sofia Vergara attended dental school before dropping out and pursuing her path in acting. All influential people in society that didn't even intend on becoming who they are today. So I ask you, what was your initial dream? Strange question, I know, but think about it. Did you want to be an astronaut before a teacher? A lawyer before an entrepreneur? As humans, we're curious about life. What works and what doesn't. What entertains us and what bores us to death. And as we grow and age and mature, the dreams and aspirations we had as children change along with us. You can't say what you wanted to be as a kid is what you want to be now. I wanted to be a princess when I was young. I knew someone that wanted to be a fire truck. Not a firefighter, fire truck. But obviously, as we grow in the world and see that, or what reality is, our dreams change with that. So, as a kid, I was very experimental. I was very hyper and very excited. I would run a restaurant at home with fake toys and serve it to my family, while also going to school and competing in track and field events. 1,500-meter race, 100-meter sprint, long jump, high jump, even tug of war, anything, I was participating in it. I do that while also designing outfits for my Barbie dolls, and then going to my piano and violin classes. Safe to say, as a kid, I never really stood still, because I was curious. I always wanted something to entertain me. And a lot of us are like that too. And we find these things with small steps. And it's very small steps. Some might not even realize what they're doing. Some might be watching Criminal Minds every Saturday night, and in the future they realize they want to be an FBI agent. They want to get bad guys. It's different things like this. Small steps. One moment, but has anyone here heard of the butterfly effect? Show of hands, anyone? Yeah. Basically, it's when a small change of events occurs and causes a non-linear impact in the future, causing a massive change, a chasm of events per se. Simply speaking, it's when small steps create big changes. We've all experienced them, whether we realize it or not, as kids or adults. My personal experience with it was when I was around 8 years old, and I had a teacher called Mr. Biget. Mr. Biget was my French art and music teacher at the time, and an exceptional one at that. Truly, he had this bold personality, such a loud character. He would embody the art teacher persona. You know, the baggy, colorful clothes, heavy jewelry, all of that. He was such an icon for me. I wanted to be him. So one day, when I impulsively joined an art club, just because, again, I never stood still, I was shocked because when I entered the room and waited about half an hour, no one joined along with me. I waited and waited and waited, but no one came. That's when Mr. Biget walked in with a lady on his side that I didn't acknowledge for a bit. He came and sat next to me with paints and pastels and pencils of all colors and told me to draw her dress. That's when I really looked. And it was the most beautiful sundress I had ever seen. It had hues of reds and oranges and yellows. Truly, the colors could have been enough to paint the whole world. And at that point, I did not care that I was the only one in the club. I could care less that no one else shared the same interests as me. All I could even care or think about was getting every color right on that lady's dress. And that was really the start of it all. That was when I saw art less than the future, but more than just a simple club I was going to at lunch. And that was Mr. BJ's fault. It wasn't a bad thing, but it was his fault that he instilled that in me. He instilled the love of art in me. He gave me a flame of passion and creativity so strong it has yet to go out. I will always be grateful to him for that. And unfortunately, a few years after that, Mr. BJ had passed away. I didn't get the chance to speak with him more, and I didn't get the chance to learn even more of the craft from him. But I was grateful to all that he gave me. I was young at the time, so I didn't really process what passing away meant. So when I joined the club the next term and he wasn't there, I was confused. Where had he gone? But from that point on, when I slightly understood what dying meant, I realized that I wanted to make him proud in a way. I wanted to show him that the little that he taught me, or the little that I remember, I will use it for the greater good. I will be an artist. So that's when I decided to dedicate myself to the craft. Obviously, I wasn't the best at it at first, but that's when I realized with being so experimental comes flaws. You can't be good at everything. You can't. You can't summit Mount Everest without any prior physical training. You can't cook a Michelin-level meal without any culinary practice. It just doesn't happen. We work, we try, we fail. We work harder and sometimes fail again, but after that we'll succeed. So when I started to prioritize art, I realized I wasn't the best at it. I would try, but eventually I was getting there. And I had more time to do my craft when I had gotten an injury a few years after that. It's a very common injury. The name is called Osgood-Schlatter disease. It sounds scary, but it's really not. It's basically when the ligaments and the tendons don't really align when the child is going through its growth spurt. So one strains, one stays still, yada, yada, yada. It hurts a lot. And the only solution at the time was for me to go off all athletics. Now that can be easy for some, but it was not for me. At the time, athletics was my everything. Truly everything for me. I would be at the top of every class. I'd win every medal, every trophy. It was mine. How do you tell a kid to stop that? I was young at the time, and I didn't understand that if I didn't stop, it most likely would have needed me to get surgery in the future for my leg. And that would have been much worse than just waiting a year. So when I was explained that, and from the little I understood from that, I decided to just stop. And it sucked. I wanted to join the other kids in PE. I wanted to run and leap and jump and skip, but I couldn't. But I stopped. No one wants surgery, so I stopped. But I decided that if I couldn't have athletics, I'd have to have something else. Something to stimulate my mind. Therefore, I chose art. The following years, I bettered my craft. It was still iffy, but I tried, and it was cheesy, and it was corny, but I tried what I could. I tried my best. And with the years passing, it became like a lifestyle. I would draw everywhere, the walls, the papers, my arms, my hands, until I added color. It still wasn't good, but I became more creative. I'd add faces to fruits. I'd make skies, random colors. Perspective wasn't a thing. I was discovering my art style slowly by slowly. Now, that's fun, but at this point, a year has passed. I can go back to athletics. I have the choice to do that. So, I'm in a dilemma now. Athletics or art? The thing with being inactive for a year is that you lose the energy. You lose the stamina. You lose the competitiveness. but I'd held on to athletics for so long. At that point, yes, I loved art, but I was still in the flux between choosing athletics and art. I could go back, I could be an Olympian. I could have a heroic story where she was beaten down as a kid and then she got right back up. I could have that. But I was in love with art. I couldn't let go of that. And so I quit athletics and chose art. That's it. I chose art. I chose art. And I wish it was more of a sad or tragic or even heroic story of when I quit, but it wasn't. I just up and left. I didn't cry, nor did I yearn, nor did I wish for anything different. I just moved on. Why did I feel guilty? Why did I feel like I should be sad about this? Younger me would be sobbing right now. I took away all of her dreams, all of them, and covered them in paint and pastels and crayons. She wanted to be an Olympian. I want to paint pictures. What's that? But as I grow up, I realize it's not selfish to betray your past dreams. It's not selfish to move on. It's not cruel. Sometimes, when you want to be better at something, you ignore your past. You ignore what else you wanted. You go for your goal. You go for it. So, after that, I went through a period where I decided to focus on art. And instead of degrading myself for that, I decided that it'd just be better to be grateful for my past. I'm grateful for what athletics gave me. I'm grateful for what Mr. BJ taught me, and I'm grateful for the flame he lit in my heart. And I'll never forget him for that. Art was 24/7, all day, every day. I'd paint everywhere. I'd be caught painting on my hands at school. I got in trouble a lot of times, but that's not important. But I was happy at that point. I was proud of it. Art was mine now. Athletics was my past. So if you take anything away from today, please take this. If you have the chance to go for something that's so out of the box, something that you don't normally do, try it. Just try it. Give it a go. What can you lose? Because you never know when that thing lights a spark in you that's so powerful, it can't go out. I'm proud of my work now. And I'm proud of how far I've gone. Even sometimes when I feel like I betrayed my past, even when I remember my happiest moments being earning trophies and medals, I'm happy at where I am now. Because that's where my dream led me. And that's where I'll keep going. This is my art now, and I'm proud of it. And I'm yet to reach my full potential, but I want to get better at it. So as Kobe Yamada said, follow your dreams. They know the way. Thank you.